Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of James Bond Bitcoin Live 0047 and hashtag trap. So, anyways, uh, thank you for everyone who is tuning in early today. Let's see who's in the chat. Flapping Plemus. Thank you for tuning in and waiting for the show to start. Really appreciate that. And also, Momo Bodra and Crypto Blood. Nice to see you. Uh, nice to have you in the chat. Anyways, and Richie Rich. And sorry, Brian today is not going to be joining us. So I'll be winging it all by myself. And if you want to know where Brian is, I think he has a premiere to go to. Brian's a independent filmmaker. So he had to go to a premiere for one of his movies I think he produced. So, anyways, we'll have Brian probably on another show, so he couldn't make it tonight. But in this episode here, it's called, or my meme here is called Booty Treasure Chest hashtag Yes2X. Now, if you're wondering what this this meme is all about, I don't know if you've noticed, but I used to do these treasure hunts where I would make a private key and I would encrypt the private key with a passphrase, which I would use from other, YouTubers or Twitter or stuff like that. And it's kind of evolved over time and everything. Well, lately, I've been using stenography. If you know what stenography is, it's basically you could hide a message in a picture, and it took a while, but Brian finally figured it out. No one was able to figure that out, but Brian did, and he's been going through and decoding all the memes that I made, and they were essentially revealing the private key. And so now that he knows, I have to now change the treasure hunt a little bit. And so hopefully those of you who are watching, you'll be able to, now that you know that there is a treasure hunt here, you'll be able to participate. Brian's pretty sharp. He figures out passwords and everything, and he's just a regular guy. And I do enjoy his company and our talks, and getting to know him online. One of the other ways he keeps track is he watches my treasure hunt wallet, and he knows every time there might be a booty to find because I'm sending out my Bitcoins. So they're not very transparent, and you can track people. Please remember that. Anyways, so the meme here is booty treasure chest hashtag Yes2X. I always have a hashtag Yes2X. If you're wondering, do I support hashtag Yes2X? No, I don't. This is part of an experiment in which I'm making all these ridiculous memes in order to see if that makes an effect or if that affects the market. If you were watching earlier today, I did make a meme about the bear market and made a call about a resistance line from my chart analysis. Now, I don't know what the price is. I'm going to check real quick, see what the price is right now. But I don't think it went beyond 4,000, or did it? Let me see here. Oh, okay. It just took a little dump here. Right now, the current price on Bitstamp is 38.88.82. Okay, so take it for what it is. Anyways, I'll address some of the questions that people have left me. And if I'm not answering the chat, sorry, I'm concentrating what I'm talking about. But if you do want me to answer some of your questions, you might want to leave a comment afterwards or something like that. Um, anyways, let me take a look. Uh, Somebody asked me if I can show them my technical analysis. And in my previous videos, I used to do that quite a bit. I used to show my technical analysis here. If you've seen some of my old videos, trading videos, when I first got into Bitcoin, that's all I used to do for the most part. Well, I don't do those kind of videos too much anymore. I talk about technical analysis. I don't show it. I don't show the chart and everything. Mainly because I don't want people to just take my word on the technical analysis. That's why I don't show it on the screen or anything. I think if anything, people should do their own technical analysis. And the best way to learn technical analysis, believe it or not, is to actually try it out yourself and try trading yourself. And there's a lot of information online for free. All right, there's many strategies. I kind of talked about them way back when. I didn't get a lot of views then, and I probably won't get a lot of views now. But there's a lot of strategies out there. There's many websites that talk about it. And if you still need help, I mean, there's many people that will gladly take your money to teach you about technical analysis. But let me warn you about this type of person that will take your money and teach you about technical analysis. First of all, if they're so great, why aren't they making money off of trading? All right, that's the first thing. Second is, anybody will take your money. I will take your money, and I'll teach you everything I know. It probably won't help you any bit, because the best way to learn technical analysis or trading is to actually do it. And you will pay to learn. Okay, so you're either going to pay money to somebody, right, and then pay again when you actually trade, because your inexperience will cost you money. And so you can pay someone to quote unquote give you experience or train you or whatever, which I think is all bullshit in my opinion, um, because you won't know what they're talking about because you've never actually done it. And so you're going to pay money to someone, and then you're going to pay twice because you're going to lose money on trades. So do your own research, trade yourself, do your own technical analysis, learn from your own mistakes, because experience will be your best teacher. And incorporate some of the strategies that works for you. And I'll share some of my experience on technical analysis. The best thing I've learned in trading is to use less and less indicators. Use maybe one or two at most indicators. That's just my experience. Or use something simple, just something real easy. If you're, if you don't want to get too complicated, just dollar cost average. That's another way to look at things. But eventually, once you understand how the game is played and how the game works, and you understand the rules of the game, there's no rules, quote unquote, but your experience will give you a set of rules and guidelines to go by. And so I'll try to share some of that with you. It doesn't cost a thing. And let me see here. Let's just go into it real quick. I'm going to share this. I shared this before, and I'll share it again. All right. And I'm coming here on the dead cat bounce again. I'm going to go to, let me see, where is it? It's not showing up. Oh, it's taking its time. There it is. I'm going to show you this, all right, again. And the reason I'm showing you again is because this is real. It really happens. So on the far left here, if you can look, is the smart money. Now, you don't have to, uh, be rich. You don't have to be very sophisticated or wealthy to be smart money. You just have to be smart, and that could be anybody. Okay, if you're smart enough, you'll understand that markets go up and markets come down, and if you're willing to put the effort and time in being in the market, that means trading in the market. The amount of time you spend in the market, the more money you'll make, or the more bitcoins you'll make. Either way, I'm talking about Bitcoin specifically, but it could be for anything. By then, you might get some institutional investors, awareness. So there's stealth phase, and if you're in the game long enough, you'll be a part of the stealth phase. If you never leave trading, you'll be in the stealth phase just because you've been in the market. Awareness phase comes when the price starts going back up slowly but surely. Everyone talks about it, and that's what happens. And I saw that again. Okay, this is the second time I've seen this. All right, mania phase. All right, if you look right here, mania phase. Well, mania phase. I'll give you an idea of mania phase. Are there a lot of YouTubers talking about trading, telling you how they made money from whatever $250 to $50,000, or they made $100,000, or they make $1,000, $500,000, or some ridiculous stupid number, and they do this every day? Well, that's the mania phase. All right. Do you see Paris Hilton tweeting about being in an ICO? Okay, that's the mania phase. Do you see Floyd Mayweather talking about, um, participating in ICO? Mania. John Cena. Have you seen John Cena tweet out a picture of Bitcoins? Mania phase. All right. So when your friends and your family are coming to you, and you've been in this game like a long time, that should tell you something. That's you're in a mania phase, so to speak. That's the first indication, that the top is starting to happen. It doesn't mean it is the top, but you're getting pretty close. Um, and so, anyways, I'm going to talk about the blow off phase. And so, the first thing in a blow off phase is the price will go down a lot. Okay, and you'll be in denial, and I talked about that in some of my previous episodes. So, denial. So, I'll give you an example. Uh, Here's an example. Ethereum and ICOs, you get an open letter from the SEC, they're in denial. They still keep pumping and pumping, right? Even though the price has already crashed by half. That's a denial phase. Right now with Bitcoin, I would say the denial is the fact that China has effectively, frozen Bitcoin, has really halted a lot of Bitcoin activity. There's rumors that miners are going to be, mining might be also halted. I've read reports where Chinese miners, Chinese or Bitcoin executives, aren't allowed to leave China. These aren't really good news, not good news at all. So when the price drops by 2,000, Bitcoin price was 5,000, it drops to 3,000, and people are, talking about the dead cat bounce being a positive thing. That's denial, in my opinion. That really is. And then the trap, okay, and please do not fall into the trap. The trap is you really are buying into the bullshit, okay? Uh, you know, Bitcoin is about money, and the people who are involved in Bitcoin are trying to use it to make money. All right, so but you can use it to your advantage. So the trap is they're trying to get you to buy in at the top so they can cash out essentially. And maybe they're not cashing out because they want to leave the market. They're cashing out to preserve their profits because they probably know or have a feeling that there's no more buyers. Okay, people can't inflate the price anymore because we reached the peak amount of greater fools out there in the market, and so therefore it's time for them to pull out and preserve their profits because eventually they're going to buy back in later. So don't buy into other people's bullshit about buying back in or being bullish. Okay, it's a bull trap, and you'll see that right there. Um, so if you bought in, that's great. You bought them at the bottom of this dead cat bounce. That's great. You see a return to normal. I say that's where we are, right? Everything's back to normal. You've seen the headlines. We're back to normal. Maybe, maybe not. Um, I made an earlier video this morning in which I talked about the price has to break beyond 4,000, like really break, get up to 45, 48, and really to break above 5,000, like above 5,000. That's $1,000. That's a lot of pumping. That's a lot of money that has to come back into the market. Um, a lot of headwinds. China, pretty much freezing all trading, and people are playing it off. You see news headlines talking about how this is a good thing. You got to be careful. Don't buy into the bullshit. All right. Um, be smart. Be the smart money, and take advantage of this possible bear market. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it can easily go that way. Okay. Um, wait for the fear. The fear might be settling in here soon. If it does go down, take advantage of the lower price, pull the trigger, and get some Bitcoin, get more Bitcoin for the dollar. All right. Or even average cost. Remember, it's not when you come into the game, it's how long you've been in the game. And then the whole pattern repeats again. Okay. The whole pattern repeats again where you're back to the smart money here, where it's the stealth phase. Because by the time the price drops, no one's interested. Nobody cares. The conferences, here's another giveaway. Are people hyping up conferences? Like are conferences like the big thing now? Because if it is, that's another indication to me that yeah, we're getting overblown here. We're getting to the top here. So, anyways, that's just my input. I shared this with you before. I'm sharing it again. Now, if you think we're not in a bull trap or we're not at the blow off phase, then go ahead, buy as many Bitcoin as you can, drive up the price. I would like to see Bitcoin go up to 10,000. I wouldn't mind it at all. And so let me get back to the booty. All right. So another thing I noticed was I do a lot of peer-to-peer trading, and I have a lot of different advertisements on trading my Bitcoins for peer-to-peer. Most of them are for selling my Bitcoins. Today was the first day that someone actually contacted me that was asking me if I buy Bitcoin. So I'm already seeing a shift in the peer-to-peer market where people are trying to offload their coins. And I am willing to buy coins. I'm just not willing at the moment right now because I like to buy in large amounts. I get the best deal and I don't have to waste my time meeting people. I just meet them that time, and then boom, I got a large amount. I don't have to meet them every other day trying to sell me like a fraction amount of Bitcoin. But today, someone out of the blue, which never happens in a bull market, wants to sell me their Bitcoin. Um, only when prices start, only when people lose confidence in the price, people want to sell me Bitcoin. So that's another key indicator that that I see as well. So, all right, let me go on to the next question here. Okay, someone asked me also about paper wallets. Like, what's the good paper wallets? Well, I'll go over it again. My personal paper wallets, or I guess they asked for paper wallets specifically, but let me see here. All right, so here's a paper wallet. It doesn't have to be this. I only use this wallet generator because they offer multiple different crypto coins here. Let me just go ahead and just get the entropy going so it shows up. So walletgenerator.net is a good site. This is basically a copy of Bitaddress, which is also another paper wallet generator. Bitaddress only produces Bitcoin addresses. Walletgenerator.net produces a whole ton load, like all these right here. All these at that time, I think 2013. They may want to update it, but another one's, if you go down here, a whole bunch. And so if you look at, do they offer a PIVX now? Did I see a PIVX? Oh, they updated it. They offer a PIVX and Pinkcoin and all this other weird stuff. All right, so they've been updating it. Good for them. So they offer a lot of other coins as well to be done, and they also provide the BIP38 encryption here. Put in your passphrase and 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, that's a wonderful password, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you put in the key, which the private key was right here. Let me see if I can get it. There it is. Private key in here, and just push apply, and then it will encrypt the private key to your passphrase and create a whole nother QR code that's encrypted. So every time you scan it, it'll ask you for a passphrase, and then you could spend from there. And so this is a wallet generator that you can use. There's many others, but I've been using this, and so far I haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. Another one is, let me see. There you go. Another paper wallet generator is coinables.github.io /segwit/. This is, I believe, Kyle. Is it Kyle? Well, he was a guest on my show, and he generated this website ever since SegWit has been implemented. And so this is another one. And this is just simply, you just generate a new SegWit address, and it just pops up like that. Done. And I've used it and I haven't had any problems with it. So again, this is something that you can use, and you can do all of this offline. You can copy this web page and then use it offline to generate the keys. Same thing with the wallet generator. You can also do the same thing. Matter of fact, you can go to their GitHub and just download it and generate all your private and public keys offline. And you can do it that way. That's what I do. And so if I know someone asked me that in my comments here, so I'm sharing it now again. And so protect your private keys, please. And I might as well go ahead, and I'm going to share a wallet that I use with my paper wallets, and it works. It doesn't work with the SegWit addresses. If what's great about this SegWit paper wallet generator, it's also a sender. So you put in your private keys here. You put your private keys in here, and then whatever address you want to send it to. Let's just put this in here right now, and then you just send it, and you could control the fees. I think recently I can't do 0 fees. I can't do 1 Satoshi. I can do 2 Satoshis, which is a penny, and then you could just transfer all the funds there if you wanted to. There is no Bitcoin whatsoever in here, but I'm just showing you. But this is also a sender as well. The only problem is you have to send all the coins. So that's the only issue I have. But the reason why I want to mention the wallet is I do use Mycelium wallet. And let me see here. I'm going to get into the pictures here real quick. So these are kind of old, but I want to show you one in particular here. All right, this one right here. It's a little outdated, but essentially spending from cold storage. Mycelium will allow you to spend from cold storage. Matter of fact, they'll work with Trezor and Ledger to spend from cold storage. But most importantly is they'll also allow you to spend from a paper wallet, both encrypted and unencrypted private keys. And what's nice is, and I've tested this many times, is that they will send the amount that you want to send, and the address, the outgoing will come back to your cold storage, the back to the paper wallet. Instead of sweeping everything, they'll spend it and come back. The remaining balance will come back. So you can kind of reuse the paper wallet. I understand why people don't want to reuse a paper wallet because the private keys are exposed. But again, when you use your Ledger, your Trezor, your private keys, you have to access your private keys anyways. So I don't know how much of it's compromised by broadcasting. I don't think it is, but the device and the people who know it, who've seen it, is compromised, of course. So in Mycelium, it says here, once the transaction has been sent, every trace of the private key will be erased from memory. And I've been using it very often, and I have not had any issues to this day. I know Mycelium is a closed source and not an open source. And I know people have issues with talking about their crowdfunding. But as a user, this has tremendously helped me a lot. And on top of that, recently they've done an update. And let me see if I can go see if there's an update here. Let me see here. Is there a recent update? Updated. Okay. What are the updates? Oh, doesn't show here. Well, one of the updates to Mycelium wallet was they only had 3 options when you had to set the fee, or 4, I should say: high priority, normal, economic, and low priority. All of those fees were high. I remember when I first started using Mycelium, a normal was 8 cents. But then again, the price of Bitcoin was a lot lower as well. Now they did an update where you can get to 8 cents. When I first got the update, it actually did almost like fractional amounts of Bitcoin, Satoshi's worth of fees to send a transaction. Since then, it's kind of, I guess, updated itself to, if you go to low priority and then scroll all the way to the left, it'll actually go down to 0 fees. Now, it gives you a warning that your transaction may never be transacted. You know, it'll never go through. I don't even know why they even have that option for zero. I've actually tried it. You know what happens? Nothing. It doesn't even show up on the blockchain at all. Nothing. So I don't even know why it's even there. But you have the option to use it. After that, I think there's an option for. I think it turns out to be like 8 satoshis, which is about 9 cents right now, and I've used that, and it doesn't confirm automatically, but it does confirm, you know, for a time frame that I like it. And most of the time, I'm just moving my own coins around, either through the treasure hunts or even just moving my own coins to a new wallet, or maybe consolidating all the inputs into one output, or maybe I'm saying it the other way. But the fee in that case is it's not urgent, is what I'm trying to get at. So you can select the fees to being in the pennies instead of being in the dollars. You still have an option to do a priority, and you can go up to $2 or $3. Right now, I think the mempool is very low, so I wouldn't even do that. So I wanted to mention Mycelium. If you're going to use paper wallets, I think this is a good wallet to use, because it will send out, you know, portions of your Bitcoin out of the cold storage of your paper wallet, so you don't have to sweep the whole paper wallet and then spend from there and then then generate a new paper wallet. It's kind of a pain in the neck to do all that. Plus, I have to update all my backups for the new paper wallet after sweeping and then returning the amount of Bitcoins back into it. So I'll give them props for that. This is something I've been using. I'm not endorsed by them. It's just that as a user, it's very useful to me, and I'm not being paid by them. I just like using it a lot, very much. So I did want to talk about that. So that was one of the questions that the users has left me, and so there you go. All right, and then so in the future, I'll get back to the treasure chest here, the booty. So in the future, what I'm going to do, since Brian has discovered the treasure hunt, I'm going to be redoing the treasure hunt now. And unfortunately, most of you didn't know, or you know, I would check with all the pictures from previous, check all the memes. Maybe Brian missed a few. Maybe he forgot. I don't know. But you know, maybe he didn't get it all. So you might want to check if you're interested in trying to get some of that treasure hunt. But now, from this point on, I will have a new set of treasure hunt, and I won't tell you what it is. If you've been following me and following my channel, you'll know some of the, you know, tactics that I use to hide my private keys or reveal my private keys. You know, you'll just have to do your best in finding it. And so I won't be telling you how I'm going to do it. You'll just have to watch the show, watch the previous episodes. If you've been watching me and you know how I do things, then there's probably a good chance you might discover the booty, you know. So there you go. And so let me go on to the next, some of the next questions here, or things to talk about that other people have mentioned. Oh, I don't know if you've seen this, but I've been seeing a lot of paid ads from Craig Grant. I don't know what that's all about. I didn't watch the whole thing, but if you're into, I'm assuming it's targeted for people who are into Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, and it's a paid advertisement by Craig Grant. And I don't know what his plan is now or what he's trying to do, I don't know how he's going to handle this bear market, but I'm sure he has something schemed. But there's a paid advertisement that comes out, and it looks like a homemade video kind of commercial. I didn't watch the whole thing because I knew right off the bat it's probably some bullshit where I didn't want to deal with it, you know. And that's just going on, you know, just if you're watching any YouTube channel, it'll just pop up, you know. I don't have a blocker, and I don't mind. I don't mind, you know, if someone has an add-on, maybe I won't watch it, you know. I like watching trailers though to movies. You know, I get a free sneak peek, and maybe if I like the trailer, I'll go watch the actual movie. But um, Craig Grant has an ad. Um, I'm gonna take a guess that he's probably trying to come up with another scheme, some scheme where he has to pay for the ad to get other people in, or maybe get new people in. Maybe it's a BitConnect scheme because I didn't watch the whole thing, you know. And so maybe he's going out there and gotten some money to push BitConnect. I know that he's into that right now. So uh, I, I I just want to address that because people left comments in the video saying that they saw that. Matter of fact, Dual Overhead Camness said he saw that. So that's good for you. All right. Excuse the silence here as I look at your comments now. Okay. So now I'm going to go over some headlines on some news, and I'm not going to go over the news, but I am going to talk about it and give you my perspective on it. And so I'll tell you some of the sources where I see. And if you've been in this space long enough, you know, and you read the headlines, you'll know which one's bullshit, which one's fake, and which ones are kind of real and maybe important to keep an eye on. So let me go over some of that real quick here. All right, here. All right, so another indication that, you know, you have to remember that a lot of these news articles or the news that come out play on your fears and emotions. And so I'm on Cointelegraph, all right, and I'm going to read the headline here: How to Profit from a Bitcoin Crash. So I find that interesting because I talk about the crash, I talk about the pending bear market, and when I was doing, you know, when I was making a video about that and talking about that, I didn't see anybody talk about how they can profit from the bear market. Nobody. Now that there's some people that may recognize that prices may be coming down and we may be in a bear market, and all of a sudden there's a news article about how to profit from a Bitcoin crash. So, you know, makes you wonder who's leading who. Are the are people feeding the crowd information, or is the crowd feeding the news information? You know, who's bullshitting who? So that's another one you got to watch out for. And so far, you know, my experiment with making videos and doing these memes is it's not that hard to create FUD. It's really not. You just have to put enough doubt into people's mind, which isn't hard. People react to fear, right? There's two sorts of incentives. The type that you run away from or you run to. So, you know, you want to incentivize people to do something, right? You know, you give them money, you put out a bounty or something. That's a incentive to, you know, run to something. The other one I think is probably the more effective, because fear is very primal, instinctive. It's inside every person. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter what culture you're from. Fear, it's hardwired into people. So if you can instill fear, and not only instill fear, but program fear, right? Get them, get people to be programmed for fear. The only thing you need is a trigger. So it could be anything. It could be a picture of a bear. It could be words like down, crash. You know, these are things that are what I would call triggers. And if you listen to them, you could see the market crashing. You could hear the market come crashing, before it crashes. Just listen to the key words. These are all triggers. And what do people do? They start selling eventually. It's amazing how it works. So when I see stuff like that, that's headlines, news like that, it causes fear. And so how easy is it to cause fear? How easy to cause FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt? You use all three of these, you can actually cause people to do things without them even knowing it. It's amazing. Hopefully you're all aware of that and you can see past it and make best use of the FUD that goes out there. Okay, and let me move on to the next one here. I'm just picking some out. Next one is Crypto Coins News. So let's take a look at some of their recent headlines. Okay. Wall Street Journal argues Bitcoin is probably worth zero. So another fear causes uncertainty and doubt, which is fine because it gets the job done. It really does. It gets people to panic and sell. Now, the way I'm reading it is, okay, we're in another cycle in which the price will come down, but just like all the previous crash that has happened in the market, it's gone back up. And not only has it gone back up, it's gone back up five-fold at least. At least five-fold. So for all the newbies, if you are watching this, it'll take some time before you profit from any coins you're holding now, if you're still holding them. If you stay in the game, okay, if you stay in this community, if you understand how the game is played, understand the rules of the game, you'll come out the other side a richer, I want to say a richer man, but maybe one day we'll get some women in this space, because what I've seen now, for the most part, is like 99.9999999% men. And so, but you'll come out as a richer person on the other end if you know how the game is played. So that's another one. Let me see what else is on this. Oh, here's another one, and this is what I was talking about. Chinese Bitcoin exchange executive banned from leaving the country report. And if you just read the headlines, I like how they put in the keywords: Chinese Bitcoin exchange banned, right? And on top of that, the executives from leaving the country, like they don't want money to leave the country. So you could read a lot into these headlines and kind of get an idea of what the sentiment is, or what the sentiment or narrative is is being pushed out there on the market. And in some ways, it looks like that's kind of what's being pushed. So if you just have to read read the tea leaves, people. Read. It's not that hard. The herd is starting to gather, and you're starting to get a, how can I say this, a runaway bear herd, stampede, so to speak. The sheep are getting scared by the wolves. So there's a lot of this stuff. Let me go into one more news here where I can read some other crap. All right, so here's another one, which I'll just give you my take. I haven't read the article. I'm just reading the headlines. Optimizing. This is from CoinDesk. Optimizing SegWit. How Bitcoin's new software is giving scaling a boost. Well, so far what I've seen is ever since SegWit has been implemented, the transaction volume has, well, the mempool has decreased a lot. So I guess the transaction volume has also decreased. I've also noticed something very interesting is whenever the transaction volume increases, I've noticed a bump in the price. When the transaction volume decreases after that, the mempool gets eaten up and added into the block. And I've only known this. I've only noticed this in the past week, but the volume or the price starts dipping down after that. So I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure if it's people, if it's really spam, or if it's all of a sudden that many people trying to get their Bitcoins onto an exchange in order to dump. So I'm not sure which one it is, a spam or to dump. So that's got to be really interesting. Matter of fact, let me go into that real quick. Because so far what I've seen doesn't really jive with the narrative of what's been portrayed as the blocks are full, because I haven't seen that at all. All right, so I'm looking at 7 days, and you could probably see if you want to correlate this. But okay, was that September 14th? I think we had a large price spike. I think that was when it bounced off of 3,000. We had a large price spike. And then what's another date here? The 18th, there was a little mini bump to get. I think it might have added on to. I think this is when it was 4,200 on Bitstamp, maybe around that price. So this one right here was a bounce from 3,000, moving all the way up to 4,800, and then from there 4,800 to 4,200 was right about here. And then what is this today? Today the 20th. What is today? Today is the 20th. What do you know? And there was a little mini bump this morning. Matter of fact, I don't know the correlation of time. Time is set at 6:30. That's kind of when I did my earlier live stream around that time. But I noticed the price kind of spike up a little bit to the resisting trend line, and all of a sudden it just couldn't break above that. And now you're seeing the price, the mempool going down. So are these spam? I'm not sure. Or are these people all of a sudden flooding the exchanges with their Bitcoin to dump on the price? That's what I'm wondering, because I've noticed that correlation here, and it'll be interesting to see. I mean, you all can check and see for yourself. The next time you see a big spike in price here, or this big spike in mempool, is the price going to go up? And then after that, are you going to see a decrease, in the mempool? And then does the price all of a sudden take a dump? But so far, the mempool itself, it's low. Every time they're not even making full blocks. That's how low it is. All these are full actually, but recently they're not even full. So anyways, so that, I don't know. That's what I've noticed. So you all can take this and trade off of it, use it for your own information. Thanks for being here on this channel. Looks like my hour is almost up. And sorry if this was too boring, but hopefully you got some good information out of this, and you might want to keep checking back, because I might have some treasure hunts here and there. Who knows what it is. Also, in the notes section, I do have a song in there, the booty song. You might want to check that out. I thought that was very, very funny. But go ahead and check that out. And then I have this as the meme in here as well in the notes section. Feel free to check that out and have fun with that. Let me take a look at the chat real quick, see what you all are talking about. Oh, dual overhead camness says, women don't invest for the most part. They just rely on men to make all the money. Yes, that is true. Women do rely on men to make all the money, actually. All they have to do is concentrate on being relatively good looking and probably offer, sex once in a while. And then last is like, or on the bottom is like, cooking, serving food, and maybe the last thing is probably like cleaning the house, or maintaining the inside of the house. If anything they want to maintain is probably their walk-in closet, or the bathroom is probably the only thing they maintain really well. Everything else can go to, let someone else do it, or they could take their time. It's the last thing on their list. So, but yes, you're right on that. And sometimes I think, uh, the women are smarter than the men, because they just, for the most part, seem to get the men to do all the work, and yet they kind of receive all the benefits of our hard labor. So who gets the last laugh, So, anyways, this is going to conclude my episode. So I'm at almost to the hour. So feel free to like, dislike, uh, leave a comment, or even do a video response. Until next time, stay tuned.